Welcome to the Versa Business Tips Podcast. I'm your host, founder and CEO of Versa Business Systems, Shaheen Mazloom. We are here with a solopreneur today, Carly Ries. How are you doing, Carly?
Oh my gosh, I'm great. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Carly is a fractional CMO, as well as an expert in solopreneurs. Like solopreneur is a very, that a fairly new term, right? Up until recent years, you didn't really see a whole lot of one-man companies. So Carly, for those out there that don't know who you are and what you do, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so like you said, I'm the fractional CMO for a company called Lifestar. We help one person business owners create businesses that support the kind of lifestyle they want to live. So it's not necessarily make $1 million in your jammies by 9 a.m. It's let's make a business that allows you to go to your kid's soccer game, allows you to take that vacation when you want to take that vacation. We're trying to kind of change the mindset people have with solopreneurship
Yeah,
and show them you don't have to work around the clock. You can build a business that you not only that you not only run successfully, but that you like running.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah,
100%.
so solopreneurship is a new thing, changed right around COVID. I mean, everybody became remote. They realized
Yeah.
they could target the world. And so we created this company to kind of be the hand holders to help people just, I have this idea. How do I go from A to B? And we help them start, run, and grow their company of one without ever adding employees. So they can just kind of do their own thing.
Very cool. Yeah, I mean, like it's so crazy with technology and everything at our fingertips. Like things you used to need like 20, 30, 40, even 100 employees to do, you can get away with two or three, right? Like when I first started my company, I got a 5,000 square foot office space. I'm like, we're going to have 120 sales reps and I'm going to need 6 sales managers and assistants. And then, we had the conference room and all these different offices. And I mean, it must have been probably a year in, and we're occupying like this much of the office, and it was like a year before COVID. Then we went remote, and I realized I don't ever want to manage 100 people,
No.
right? And it's really just not necessary anymore. For certain businesses, obviously, you need a lot of people, but um, that's changing as well. Manufacturing is eventually going to be completely automated with robots, right? Like it's a very, very cool time to be in. So Carly, with solopreneurs, the definition is what, just a one man company, right? Or one woman one man company, right?
Yep. Yep. One person
So
business.
what are the pain points that people are seeing that they need a hand holder, so to speak, like Lifestar, to guide them through the process? Like, is it the just getting started, like figuring out what they want to do, or like explain that a little bit?
So the beginning, starting out, it's the whole imposter syndrome. You're
Okay.
like, I'm gonna leave corporate America. I got this. I have so much knowledge. And then you leave and you're like, I don't know anything. Why would anyone trust me? There are so many people. I mean, I'm in marketing. My next door neighbor is in marketing. Every other person is in marketing. And so it's like, how do I stand out in this crowd?
Yeah.
And so that imposter syndrome really sneaks in for a lot of people and just confidence in general, realizing that they don't know what they don't know. So they
Right.
dive in saying, man, I'm so good at marketing. But then they're like, oh my gosh, how do I file an LLC or an S corp? I don't know how to run a business. I just know how to market other people's businesses. Um, so that's a big thing. Lead gen is huge.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Those
lead gen is the most important thing.
Yeah, it's like if you can't generate leads, you don't have a business. If you can't make
Right.
that sale.
Yeah.
And so, and I mean, we talk about businesses that support your lifestyle, but you still need to run a business. You're not just going to be drinking pina coladas on the beach having good. I mean,
Right.
hopefully that's the goal in the long term. But that's just not realistic for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So lead gen is huge. Um, and people think that going solo in business means that you're doing everything yourself. And that's just not true. Work with other contractors. You don't need to have employees. But
Yeah.
if you're a marketer or let's say a copywriter, then you might need somebody that's good at branding and visual design
Yeah.
and all of that. So partner up with them. And if your budget doesn't allow for a lot of things, co-market, co-brand, tap into each other's audiences, partner
Exactly. Yeah.
with people that support your business. So those are three really big things. Isolation is a big one. So on top of just um, being able to work with other contractors, do that for your sanity. I mean,
Right.
a lot of people jump ship. They're working in their own little. So when, just to go backwards, I became a remote worker in 2014. I
Right.
was working for a company, but my husband and I became digital nomads. And I was so concerned that being on the road, being away from the office, kitchen, and everything, I was going to be so lonely. And you just have to make an effort to not necessarily network within your business, but go join a beach volleyball team, go to
Yeah.
a club, like figure out ways to get that people time
Yeah.
so that you can really be heads down when you're working on your
Oh,
business.
100%. Yeah, like I started working remote, I don't even know, probably 17 years ago. And yeah, it was, I mean, in the beginning it was tough. Like I would literally have to get in my car, go to the coffee, go get coffee, come back, have my suit and tie, to really get in the zone. And then it was like you said, like joining a league or a group or something like that to get that people time in. That's a huge pain point. But you brought up some interesting things. So most solopreneurs, now, are they like 1099ing people? Are they, when you talk about partnerships, are you saying like, hey, I'm going to hire this marketing company to do our work and we're going to, split the profits, or like this lead gen company, so like we've done some things like that. Like we have a guy who built us out this massive email system. We're sending 40,000 emails a day. We're getting it in the inbox, and they take, they charged us the cost price, and they get 10% of any of the leads that produce revenue. Is that what you mean as far as partnering up, or do you mean like specifically giving equity in the company?
No, oh no, it's not equity. So we just kind of see it, and we're not the owners of the term solopreneur, I guess. I mean, I'm sure you can find different definitions everywhere.
Right,
Kind of see like if you're a contractor, partner with another contractor, or yeah, pay an agency to, but the agency wouldn't be an employee of yours. They're just
right.
providing helpful services. And so we just, you're not going to be good at things in your business. I have the first thing I did was hire a CPA when I started my own business. I was like, I need to make sure that I'm paying
I
those
failed
quarterly
accounting
taxes.
one. I had to retake it.
Exactly. That was something I knew going in
Yeah,
that it wasn't going to be an expense, it was going to be an investment.
yeah,
And so just find the gaps in your knowledge and see
yeah.
where you can outsource or where you can educate yourself
Right,
inexpensively if you're on a tight budget. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I work with more people now than I even did when I was with a company because you kind of get with your own team and you guys just work together. And
right.
that's
And then
how
I mean, you can't do it alone, right? Like you got to have some sort of a team, like whether it's partners or, just people you do business with, right? Like we've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. They don't work for me, but without them, we wouldn't do any business.
well, and like I said, I'm a fractional CMO. We have Lifestar as a company, but the vast majority of us are solopreneurs.
Right.
The other nice thing is most of my time goes towards Lifestar. I love what we do. I'm very, I hate using the word passionate. I feel like that's the whatever. But I really do love our values and our mission that we have with
Yeah.
the company. Can I go do other projects? Absolutely. I'm my own business.
Right.
Joe Rita, the CEO of the company, highly respect him. He's one of the greatest guys I've ever met. He would also say, yeah, if you have this opportunity, go take it because you're a solo
Yeah.
and do what you want.
Yep.
Well,
Exactly.
and then I would still be doing stuff with Lifestar as well. So you kind of just have a cool, you are your own boss, but you can take on projects as you want, work with different people, work with who you want to work with. That is
Yeah,
the other
exactly. Like you get to
thing.
control, you're controlling the decisions at that point, So would you say like a big thing about being a solopreneur is just having an honest conversation with yourself about what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are? I think a lot of the times, like, I mean, I know at least for me, I'm like, I'm great at sales, I'm great at hiring. Those were two things that I knew I was great at. But there's so much more that goes into a business, and I feel like a lot of people don't realize that until you actually dive in. Uh,
Well, so what I
and
was going to say, yo, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, so I was gonna ask. So are most people coming to you? They just launched. They're like, "Oh God, what have I done?" And then they're coming to Lifestar, and they're like, "I need some help here. Like, I don't know where to
Yes.
go."
Yes, and a lot of times, I mean, it's random things. We deal with a lot of imposter syndrome. Then it's just fine tuning a few things. Like you said, sometimes you just have to jump in. You can have an honest conversation with yourself at the beginning, but 3 months down the road, you're going to have more honest conversations
Oh,
with yourself.
yeah.
And you're going to have to continue
Constantly.
having those honest
Yep.
conversations. Those just don't stop. But people come to us just looking for that comfort of, I can do this, plus the
Right.
knowledge that they need. So a lot of times people find us, we have these two, shameless plug alert, we have these two events that happen once a month. One is like a networking event, but
Uh,
not your typical, hi, I'm Carly, like this is what I do, blah, 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 blah. It's just a really unique networking session called Solopreneur Problem Solvers. And then we have another one that's a micro event where speakers actually come in and address things that only solopreneurs would be receptive to. So, for example,
nice.
for SEO, you can Google SEO and get search engine optimization and get a million articles. You could chat GPT it, get an answer. But I don't always recommend that solopreneurs focus on SEO first.
Right.
A lot of times, solopreneurs just need 3 or 4 clients. So I'm like, go get a cup of coffee and meet
Right.
some people in the community
Right.
and focus on the short game. And then you can also in the background be focusing on content and all those things. But for a solopreneur that needs 3 or 4 clients, why waste your time
Yep.
on an email campaign or a massive PPC campaign or something?
Yeah.
One-on-one conversations are the most important. So people come to us for things like that because they're like, well, I've been doing research on entrepreneurship. And we're like, no, 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 no. There's a difference between research on entrepreneurship where people want to scale these businesses to just having 4 or 5 clients who pay you every month and then you can go hang out with your friends and family.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So, like, when when you were talking about, lead generation, right? For solopreneurs, like you said, a lot of the times they're handling the leads themselves, or maybe they have some independent, some people that are independent contractors as salespeople, or they've hired some people in the Philippines to handle their sales calls or something like that.
Mhm.
What are some ways? I mean, lead generation is constantly changing, right? I personally think social media, like Meta specifically, has just gotten worse and worse and more expensive. Um,
Yes.
and so, like, what are some good ways? Like, what are some good ways that you guys are seeing that people are generating leads in a good way that's not direct mail and not Meta?
Right, exactly. So it's so funny you say that because a lot of people don't realize that it's pay to play on social now. I mean, really
Yeah,
to get your post shown in your news feed on Facebook and everything, you have to
especially right before the election. Oh my goodness.
it is we told people to not do email,
Yeah, we
PPC, or
we turned
social.
off yeah, we turned off all of our leads for the last 2 months before the election because it was
Yeah.
just getting ridiculous. They were both playing with what, $1 billion in marketing?
Yeah.
Like,
It was ridiculous. Yeah, we
yeah.
told everybody to go dark around that time too. So it's worthless.
Yeah.
But people think we'll have people come in and they'll say, "I know I need social media, but I'm not getting any traction." And we're like, "Well, are you having one-on-one conversations with people? Are you leaving comments on people's posts that are genuinely helpful or grateful for the information they provided and are actually trying to build relationships as opposed to just posting?" Because on
Right.
LinkedIn, I have a ton of success on my personal page because I'll go in and I'll comment on somebody's what post or whatever. And I'm like, wow, this is really helpful. Have you like where did you find out this information? Blah blah blah. This is so great. Mind if I share it with my friends? Don't go on and say, cool,
Yeah.
agreed.
Yeah.
I like this. That doesn't provide any value. And
Not at
don't go on and
all.
say, hey, good post, but it's wrong. Do you think you could consider this instead? That doesn't help anybody. Like it just show how much you appreciate the content and build genuine relationships. Don't blindly reach out to somebody on LinkedIn and say, "Hey, I visited your website. I'm an SEO company. You
Yeah.
should do this because you're doing all of this right."
100%.
Oh,
100%. Because all they're gonna do back is maybe have a conversation with you just so they can try and sell you something.
yeah. And I'm like, "Hey, Joe, that's marketing. That is insulting if you're insulting my website." You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but actually building genuine relationships and getting involved in communities on social media,
Yeah.
I'm still seeing success there. Posting
Now, are you
video.
talking when you say communities on Facebook, are you talking about like Facebook groups?
So Facebook groups. So like we have again, I'm not trying to do another shameless plug, I promise, but as an
Plug
example,
away.
we have this Lifestar community, which is just for solopreneurs. And
uh,
so people come in there, they support each other. Somebody can come in and be like, hey, I don't know how to do this, and another person will comment. And so then relationships build. We've established so many collaborations in that group because it's just people helping people.
right.
You can join these communities, but if communities aren't your thing, or if you join so many of them, you don't pay attention to them, then commenting on posts, whether it's Facebook, whether it's LinkedIn, wherever your audience is, make sure you're commenting
Right.
on your audience's post
Yeah.
and focus on that. So social media isn't dead by any means, but don't
No.
just put a post out there and
Yeah,
leave it.
I think I was more so talking about like ads, like the paying for ads has just begot just like I get more leads from just organic posts than I have ads in probably the last couple of years. Like years ago, Meta was great, ads were great, the cost was reasonable. It seems like ever since they went to they got caught selling everybody's information,
Mhm.
that it kind of went downhill.
Well, and I think it's also for solopreneurs who are just starting out. They think that they have to do PPC in some form, whether it's Google,
Right.
Facebook,
Or they
whatever.
need all these leads, like you said, and it's like, dude,
Yes,
slow down. You're one person. You can't make
right.
200 calls today.
But the other thing is Meta's ad dashboard isn't necessarily the most intuitive. It's like build your campaign, build your ad set. And people are like, what is the difference? I don't know what I'm doing. And so one, that could be a place you can outsource if you're absolutely adamant that you want to do these pay-per-click campaigns.
Yeah.
You can outsource to somebody, but if you're trying to figure it out yourself, your time is better spent finding these one-on-one conversations as a solopreneur than getting a certification in Meta's platform.
Yeah,
Because you're
100%. I mean, it's stages, I think, is especially for a solopreneur, that's where they're going to shine, right? Whether it's a digital stage, whether it's a physical stage, somebody else's stage, your own stage, podcasts. I mean, I've met some amazing people just by having this podcast. Like, I mean, I'm not promoting my business, I'm promoting other people's businesses. And people are like, well, why do you spend so much time doing that? I'm like, I'm meeting some great people that have gotten me a ton of referrals, right? Most of the people that I've had on the show, not by, like, it's just by accident, but most of them are in B2B. What do? We help businesses. So it's like, it's always a good conversation, and there's always some synergy there to be able to do business. And, we're only 51 episodes in. um, so what's that? Maybe 50 hours tops that I've spent on, and we've generated, I don't know, a couple 100,000 in revenue just from podcast referrals.
yeah.
So it's like people don't think about that. They're like, oh, we got to do Google ads and we got to be at the top of Google, right? That's everybody's go-to is we got to be at the top of Google. That's how people are going to find us. That's the only way people find us. And it's,
Yeah.
it's, it's
But
just
even
not.
that's changing. And like I
Yeah.
said, SEO is like a
Chat
longer
I
term
don't even go to Google anymore. I'm searching Chat GPT.
play. Exactly. So it's like all this time we all spent getting our websites to the top of the SERP pages
Yeah.
changing. And who
Yeah.
knows? I mean, it'll change again and
Oh,
it'll continue.
100%. It'll continue to change. Yep.
Yeah, which again for solopreneurs is why it's so important to focus on those one-on-one
Yeah.
conversations.
Because that's never going to change.
That's never going to
That's one
change.
thing that's never going to change. You're always going to get it. You're always going to get so much further by having that one-on-one conversation. It was
Yes.
funny. I was at a gas station last night. So I landed from England like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. Had to drive an hour and a half home. Was almost home, and I'm like, I better not push it. Let me just get some gas. And there was this guy next to me, and he's like, if you don't mind me asking, like, what do you do? And I told him, and he's like, "Oh, dude, I own a business. Like, I got a bunch of bunch of guys that work for me, and we're doing this, that, and the other. We're trying to grow. We need some help with some funding, and our credit card processor sucks, and it's just a lead, just like that, from a simple one-on-one conversation at a gas station. You can have it anywhere.
Exactly. And so many people forget that.
Yeah.
And another thing you said podcasting for solopreneurs, you don't need your own podcast.
No.
You should research podcasts that are within your niche and the people you're trying to target and be a guest because
Yeah.
it's like a 30, 45 minute commitment out of your day because you won't
Yeah.
have any prep because they should be.
And you're
asking you
getting in
questions
front
you
of
already know.
somebody's whole audience.
Right, right. And you don't need to prepare, write an article or anything. Your knowledge is already in your head.
Yeah.
So that is so huge.
Yeah.
And then also for solopreneurs, hosting your own virtual events
Yeah.
and using that as a lead gen tool to show you're an authority in your field. Maybe run a few PPC ads if you want to, but just promote that event and you'll be we get so many leads from those
Yeah.
events that I was telling you about. And
Yeah.
it's just because you establish yourself as an authority.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. So there's oh, I lost my thought. So what was I going to ask you? We were talking about so with lead generation for stages, right? So the when people come to Lifestar and they're like, okay, we've got our leads figured out. If sales isn't their thing, like I guess my question is, can somebody be a successful solopreneur if sales and marketing, the two most important pieces of a business, are not their thing?
They can. So, and a lot of people, sales isn't in their thing. I'm not a salesperson. I'm an extrovert. So people assume like, oh, you must
Right.
like closing that deal. I'm like, no, hard pass. I don't. That's not. And for that, we recommend like or low touch sales where you can get people to your site and then create like nurturing campaigns from there to
Right.
get people closer to the close. And so you can kind of be hands off by
I
meeting
like
somebody
that.
saying, hey, check out my website. It's lifestar.com. And then they can go there. And then once they fill out a form or do whatever, attend an event, then they'll just get some emails here and there. But you can be hands off and you can be there if they have questions. But we found, have you heard of They Ask You Answer by
Uh,
Marcus Sheridan?
no.
Basically, like to get to the sale, just be transparent. Tell them how
Oh
much you
yeah.
answer their
100%.
questions. Any questions they have, put that on your website, put that everywhere. Don't hide anything.
Yeah.
And then they'll I mean, know, like, and trust is so commonly used now, but they will. They'll know who you
Right.
are, they'll like you, they'll trust you, and they'll be more likely to buy from you. And you may not even need to be involved in the sales process at all because could all be happening
100%. There's
automation.
three reasons why people don't buy from you. They don't like you, they don't trust you, or they don't understand the product.
Yes,
That's it.
and if you're getting people to your site and because you want a low touch sale and you don't want to be a lot like heavily involved in the process, if you're not getting sales, it's because what you just said. It's one of those three things. And just because your message is clear to you, that
Yeah,
does
it
not
doesn't mean
mean
it's
it's
clear
clear
to
to
everyone else. Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like a lot of the times you need to go to a company like Lifestar just to have another somebody that's an expert with solopreneurs that can actually take a look at that. But also like so let's talk about fractional marketing real quick. So like fractional anything is kind of a new, like fractional CFO, fractional CMO, fractional uh, I don't know, right?
Yeah. You
There's
want to be
just yeah,
fractional.
anything you want to be fractional, right?
Mhm.
For most companies, I mean, even my company, like we could absolutely use a fractional CFO, fractional CMO. We've got I don't know 10 people within the company, but smaller companies, you don't need to have a full time CFO anymore. You don't need
No.
to have a full time CMO. You still need those things, but now you can hire fractional people like you that
Mhm.
handles the stuff that you don't want to handle or don't have the time to without paying someone a $150,000 salary. You pay
Mhm.
them a salary for the amount they work. And if you only need them to work a couple hours a week, great.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
So how does that work? Right. Like, is that kind of like if let's say they're like, we probably need you for a couple hours a week. Are you taking that, $150,000 salary divided by the hours, and that's what you end up charging them, or how does that work? I've always
well, I
wondered
think that just depends between the contractor and the company and what they're negotiating. I'm sure some people are on retainers,
that.
some
Right.
people are on hourly, and I'm sure some companies they roll over the hours to the next month.
Yeah.
If you're only working like 15, 20 hours a week or so, I mean, hourly, it's funny because it's so, as a marketer, you're like, oh, well, you should do project based because then if you come over or under, you're still getting the same
Right.
and you can charge that. But hourly still makes sense for a ton of people.
Yeah.
And I think that all, and again, if it's contractor to contractor, just have an honest conversation about it. And
Right.
build that rapport with the company too. If you go over by a few hundred, few $1,000s in 1 month, they're
Yeah.
probably like, well, because you needed to. Like we had a deadline that you needed to meet and you worked
Yeah.
extra hours. But be transparent. If you're gonna say, like, don't surprise them with a bill that's double what you would normally
Right.
them. Just keep those again back to the whole transparency is
Yeah,
key.
transparency and honesty is key. I mean, it really. I mean, that's where most of our successes come from. Like we became the highest. So we have the highest closing ratio and the highest repeat business ratio in all of B2B.
Okay.
As far as I know definitely for sure in the lending space. But it's really because of those two things: being transparent, educating our customers, being 100% open, and there's one thing that I tell all my guys. I'm like, if you don't know the answer to something, if you aren't 1,000% positive on the answer to a question they're asking you, tell them, hey, I'm not 1,000% sure. Let me call someone and double check.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna respect that over you trying to BS your way through an answer.
People
Right?
are so scared to say, I don't know.
Yeah.
And they're so scared to say no.
Yeah.
And we have found so much power in
So much.
saying
Yeah.
no and setting those boundaries. People will respect you for them. If you say, I don't answer emails after 5 o'clock, then they'll know like during their normal business hours, you're working and that you respect yourself. Like, I mean, that sounds bad. You're other people that work
Yeah. What are you
around
saying? I don't respect myself because I
the
work 24/7.
I meant to say, but they will respect you for setting your own boundaries because
Yeah.
that produce a better quality for them.
Yeah.
I know we're recording this in late December of 2024, and I know a lot of people are saying, "I'm out of the office for the next 2 weeks. Leave me alone." It doesn't mean you're going to lose business. It just means
Right.
you respect your personal time, and you'll get back to
Yeah.
them when the new year hits. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
100%.
it's funny you said that. I don't know, and saying no is afraid people. It scares people, and
Yeah.
it shouldn't.
Definitely, definitely. Oh, so I remember my thought now. So we were talking about one-on-one conversations, right, with lead generation. Every single person, every single person is there's an opportunity to make a sale or get a referral. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter if they're a 6-year-old kid or a 90-year-old grandparent. Why? Because that kid knows adults. Right? Like it doesn't matter who you are. Everybody knows whether it's B2B or B2C. Everybody knows a consumer and a business owner.
Yeah.
Everybody from your 6-year-old to your 99-year-old grandmother. Everybody knows a consumer or a business owner. So whether they like your product or are a fit for your product or not, it doesn't really matter. Right? Like I was on the plane last night. I got 4 leads. I was only sitting next to 2 people.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like I got a lead at the seat in the gate and another one in line to walk on the plane. And then both the people that I sat next to, right? I think actually I don't think one of them owned a business. One of them had a doctor practice. But the other 3, they don't own businesses, but they know people that do.
Yeah.
Right? Like you should be talking to everybody. There shouldn't be a single person you come in contact with that doesn't know what you do.
So it's funny you say that. When I first started out, so I am not a designer and I am not in advertising, which people sometimes think is synonymous with marketing.
No.
When I was first starting out on my own, nearly a decade ago now, I overheard my parents tell some of their friends she is a creative director for an ad agency. And I was like,
Nice.
none of that is true. Uh, Parents don't know what I do.
Yeah,
And so I had to educate them. And so when we talk to solopreneurs, tell people what you do. For
yeah.
some reason, people
And
think you
don't make it confusing. People
no,
get so complicated with, like, their answer too, like, you gotta have a short, simple, elevator pitch type answer, right?
you
What do you
do.
do? We help
And
businesses solve problems. We help businesses scale. Whatever, like, whatever you do, like, say what you do, not, "Well, we offer this and this and this and this."
nobody cares. And in that quick elevator pitch, tell them how you solve their problems.
Yeah.
That's all they only care
That's all
about
they
what
care
they
about.
do.
Yeah.
They do care about what you do.
Yeah.
And but it's important to let your friends and family know what you do and even to send out an email to all of your personal contacts and say, "Hey, it's been a minute since we caught up. here's what I'm up to right now. People get nervous that they sound salesy, but really it's just a life update. And you say,
Right. Like, "You're my
one
friend, I
thing
wanna
that,
let you know what I'm up to," and it's automatically gonna bring you some leads.
yeah, because they want to help their friends. And
100%.
so, even like you were saying, even if your friend isn't your target audience,
Yeah.
their friend probably is. And so, we actually recommend people revisit that quarterly or every 6 months or so.
Yeah, I love
Send
that.
another update email to stay on your friends and family's
Yeah.
radar because they
That's a
want to.
great idea.
Thanks.
I mean, not even just for solopreneurs, but really anybody in sales, period,
Mhm.
right? That's yeah, that's a great. I've literally got, I don't know, probably 10,000 contacts.
Do it.
Some of them I haven't talked to for years.
Yeah.
But you never know, right?
And
Like,
you
especially
can
like now that we're coming up on the end of the year, or this will go live in January, so it's the beginning of the year. Hey, hope you have a great 2025. Here's what I'm up to this year. You know, yeah, I love that. That's a great
and
idea.
just be informative, not salesy. So that's what I'm
Yeah,
up to. Hope all is well with you. Would love to know what you're up to.
yeah.
It's
Don't
really
ask them for referrals.
no, no,
No, just
just a
tell them
life
what you're
update.
up to. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I love that. I love that. So, Carly, a lot of people, a lot of guests that come on the show, they'll have some sort of a gift, to help the viewers and listeners with their business. What do you have for us today?
Yes, so we have this free offer called Lifestar Intro. If you go to lifestar with 2rs.com/intro, and that will take you to our free offers. It gives you access to those two free events I talked about earlier, our
Awesome.
amazing
Are those
community of
events
just
virtual?
solopreneurs.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Very
yep, they're
cool.
on Zooms.
Okay.
Yep, great. We have a roadmap to success for solopreneurs that they look at, different
Great.
business tools, and then a great newsletter. It's not one of those spammy newsletters. It actually has like clear, concise, actionable
Awesome.
content that can kind of go in your
Very
feed
cool.
every week. So
Yeah,
yeah, sign up for
definitely.
that.
I'm gonna do that as soon as we get off here. So I'll put that in the description. That way, people can just copy paste, click on it, whatever they want to do. Um, and then how do they reach out to you? Say they need a fractional CMO, which for those who don't know what a
Yes.
CMO is, Chief Marketing Officer. Um, Not
I'm so
advertising
glad
creative or what what you said.
I'm so glad you said that. I have a friend of mine who's a dermatologist, and I told
Yeah,
her I
sure.
was a CMO, and
Well,
she thought I meant
yeah.
chief medical officer. And I was like, if somebody's hiring me as a
Yeah,
chief
we got a
medical
problem.
officer, it's going to be
Yes, she's not a medical
well,
professional, she is a marketing professional.
thank you. Thank you. But I live on LinkedIn. It's just, if you type in Carly Reese, I should come up, but otherwise it's just /Carly Reese, and Reese is
Great.
Ries on
Awesome.
LinkedIn.
Well, it was great talking to you. I hope you have a great night. I think we should catch up in a year and see where we're at. I know things are going to be completely different because things are constantly changing. And I don't know about you, but I am super excited for business in general for 2025. There's just like people are so hyped up right now. Like,
So yeah, between the virtual age,
yeah,
solopreneurship, and AI, like things are
yeah,
going to go
yeah. It's
crazy.
going to be a great year. Thanks, Carly.
Sounds great. Thank you so much again for having me.